I'm excited to see these group of young men take the ice castle and represent Youngstown State, and the Mahoning Valley.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Save, borrow, and invest with Farmers. Take heart knowing you're helping create a strong community. Mind your money at Farmers. Talk directly to local decision makers about your loans, investments, and insurance. Farmers. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal.
We're going to go left, shrug right, ready. Good. Come on, reach. There you go. Ready, go.
What I see is great leadership. We got a lot of fourth-year players, guys that have been in the program, and definitely that stands out the most to me. They're doing all the presentations in our team meetings at night, and it's just great hearing them and seeing them be able to lead. A lot of offense, a lot of defense, a lot of special teams that we're getting installed, but the most important piece is that mental toughness, that grit. So what separates those good from the great teams? It's going to be how they overcome that adversity, how they fight through the discipline and building good, better habits that started in January in the weight room, went into spring ball, went into this summer training. For us, it's about being focused, being disciplined, holding each other accountable, because in the third and fourth quarters, when things get really hard, that's when you have to make the plays. And you can't do that if you're not a disciplined football team. So, we're focusing on habits. Habits not only on the field, habits in the training room, habits for sleeping, habits for how you eat, how you take care of your body. I think you find out what your players can do. Find out what Beau can do well. And that's kind of how we attack the spring. What can he do well? There's sometimes, everyone blames a quarterback for an interception. Sometimes it might be a receiver running the wrong route. So that's everyone getting on the same page. And I have full faith that our offense is moving in that direction. We're finding the strengths of what he can do, how he can throw the ball, what's his most successful, eliminating those mistakes, because again, there's nobody that wants to throw an interception, but in the same sense, I don't want you to be fearful either of throwing that ball downfield. So, it's just about us. It's that practice execution becomes game reality. And, we're throwing a lot at them early.
You good.
That's better. One heartbeat there.
Last year, there was a lot of opportunities for me to learn and, how to overcome adversity. It didn't go the way we wanted to, but that taught me a lot on how to lead through adversity and, just in playing wise, taking care of the football and, picking my guys up when we're down, things like that. So it taught me a lot. I try to treat every single one of my teammates with respect and love, because once they know that I care for them, that's when they're going to take heed of my leadership. And, I like to be the first one in the facility and the last one to leave, and just set an example for the guys on how we should conduct and carry ourselves on and off the field. And I think, like I said, once they know you care about them, they'll start to follow that. I watched a ton of film. I went back through, just learned from, the situations we were in, the plays we had drawn up. And Coach Yursich has helped me tremendously, just football IQ-wise, and learning, sometimes a punt isn't the worst thing in the world. So I would say my football IQ's just gone up, watched film, been in the film room, and I think that's most of it, and footwork as well. When you have sloppy footwork, the balls are going to be a little inaccurate, but a combination of that I think is definitely going to help going into this next year.
Transferring in was really just trying to find a place on the team at first. I know I came in as a corner. I had a connection with the corners coach because he previously coached me at Tiffin, and a couple of the corners here I knew. And then just really building a relationship with the defensive coaches and a special teams coach. I knew that coming from a lower division, I'll have to really play a huge role in special teams, especially if I wanted to have a big role in the defense. And then coming in, I started at corner. After a couple of weeks into the season, I got switched to safety, and then that's where I kind of found my place on the team and my feel for the defense.
We've had tremendous success with our Division II players. DJ Harris came from Tiffin a year ago and had great success. Cam Cunningham coming from Fayetteville, the 6'4", 330-pound defensive tackle, had success there. Thomas Jolly, from Grand Valley, had success at Grand Valley. And the thing that I loved about Thomas, he's from Cleveland, Ohio, and Benedictine. You look at our former Division II players, Jaleel McLaughlin and Ando Ogletree, that came from Notre Dame College in Findlay. They're playing in the NFL. So I think kids see that you can get to that next level. So to be able to have those guys, Dane Hodge is probably really the only FBS guy we brought in from Tulsa in January, but he played at Tulsa. And now he brings that game experience, to our program. And Dathan Hickey, you didn't see Dathan last year, was injured from Yale. And we're excited what Dathan can do as a safety. And then you got experienced guys like Preston Zandier, Mike Wells, we're expecting a breakout, Karsten Marshall, Michael Voitis. So defensively, I think there's a lot of players there that are competing to get on the field, and I'm excited to see how it works out.
Let's go, D-ball, go 2-1-2, D-ball.
We feel very good. We went in January and brought in Isaac Perkins, who started 2 years at Colgate. They had a coaching change, but we recruited Isaac out of high school from Gahanna-Lincoln, Columbus, Ohio. And Isaac feels a big, 320-pound guard that has the game experience. Then we got guys competing, Joseph Farah from Boardman High School at that right guard position. Nick Nielsen, nobody knows who Nick is yet. He's going into his third year, but he's grown up into a 6'6", 290-pound offensive lineman that's going to see playing time. And, what Shane Keenan, Van Keen, and Des Lee, those guys have played a lot of football for us, so you got to lean on those guys.
Coach Perry brought in some great guys, and obviously Max, first team All-League last year, he's coming back. I got a tremendous amount of trust in him, and I know we all know what he's going to do. And we got a ton of great athletes, we got Kylon Wilson. We brought in Mike Solomon. And we got a bunch of other guys who are fighting for spots. We got tremendous athletes in that room, and it's just a bunch of competition, which is only going to push them more, to learn the playbook, get their details down. So I don't think we'll be short of good receivers in this team.
Building from last year is just more leadership on the team and keeping the confidence high on the defense, and definitely a communication side, just making sure everything's assignment sound and that we're playing together, 11 as one, as a unit.
Seeing the Ice Castle packed, just this being our home stadium, growing up here, I just love it when it's a packed house, running out of that tunnel game one, just seeing all the fans. I just can't wait for home games, and especially under the lights. That's the best, when you get to play under the lights in your hometown, in Youngstown. It just doesn't get much better than that, so I can't wait for that.
We have a 12-game schedule, so we know what it takes, how many games we're going to have to win to make to the playoffs. So I'm just excited. I feel like coming off of last season, a lot of people maybe count us out or undermine us as a team, and I feel like that we're going to rise the standard as what the program is and just give a team a different look and just a new identity. We're looking forward to that this season.
Seeing these young men have success, I think as a leader, what do you strive for? You want them to feel that success. You want them to sing that fight song over at that band or the fight song in that locker room. And it's a great challenge. People say, we went to media day and you play in a league that the national champion comes out of. But that's what we got to rise up to. I think our kids are focused. I think they're locked in. I think we have a great locker room. And I always believe you got to win in the locker room before you win on the field. So I'm excited to see these group of young men take the Ice Castle and represent Youngstown State, and the Mahoning Valley.
BusinessJournalDaily.com. 3 Minutes With is brought to you by Farmers National Bank.
Save, borrow, and invest with Farmers. Take heart knowing you're helping create a strong community. Mind your money at Farmers. Talk directly to local decision makers about your loans, investments, and insurance. Farmers. Fiercely local, fiercely loyal.